when a student moves into completing their Zen training, they do it through a process called Dharma transmission, where the teacher and student together transmit the Dharma in what's called a mind-to-mind seal. In effect, there's a unity of mind in a very particular, fully perceived way. So one of the koans that we work in the first collection of koans in formal koan study, and that's called the Muman Koan. There's a koan in there I want to talk about a little bit today. I've just turned in my most recent book called Soothing the Longing Heart to my editor. I get the first edited version back Tuesday, and then we continue on for a few months. But this is my next book. I've translated the Muman Koan. I'm adding some introductions and commentary and whatnot to it. And so what I'm going to read you is from my manuscript. And this is case 6 of the Muman Koan. Muman Koan means the gateless gate. So a gate that has no gate. So that gives our minds, our conceptual understanding, no place to land. That's why they use these terms in the Zen tradition. So this is case 6, called The Buddha Holds Out a Flower. And this is an important koan in the Zen tradition. This interaction between the Buddha and one of his senior students, Mahakashyapa, is an important interaction, and it starts the first established Dharma transmission in the Zen tradition is from this koan, this exchange between the Buddha and the student. And so what I'm going to do is I'll read you the koan, and then I'm going to read a couple of commentaries, one from Muman, who was the person that organized these into the book, and then I provide my commentary, and then Muman has a verse, and then I have a verse, which are intended to help point the student toward the territory of the koan. So I'll start with the koan itself. Shakyamuni Buddha was teaching at Mount Gurdakuta, holding a flower. All was still. Mahakashyapa smiled. The Buddha said, "I have the true Dharma I, the marvelous no mind of cessation, the perfect form of formlessness, opening the subtlest Dharma gates. With no words and no teaching, I am entrusting this to Mahakashyapa." So that's quite a statement. The Buddha said, "I have the true Dharma I, the marvelous no mind of cessation, the perfect form of formlessness, opening the subtlest Dharma gates. With no words and no teaching, I am entrusting this to Mahakashyapa." That really in many ways sums up not only koan work, but also Dharma transmission. So it's a really interesting koan, as I say. And it's an interesting one to work when the student gets there. So I'll read you first Muman's comment. And the comment is intended to provide sort of a structure and a little bit of understanding of the koan. So Muman's comment is, golden-faced Gautama abandoned the listeners through misdirection. He rejoiced in wonder and awe. What if everyone had smiled? How could the true Dharma I be transmitted? What if Mahakashyapa had not smiled? Could there have been a transmission? Should there be no transmission, then the golden-faced old man would be a street hustler. If you say it cannot be transmitted, then how did the Buddha approve of Mahakashyapa? So you can see that part of the comment is also intended to undercut the concepts we can create about the koan or the exchange in the koan. my comment that I made, in stillness, all is revealed. A flower, simple and sweet, contains the whole. Are you listening carefully to the flower's teaching? And then we get to the verse, and Mumon's verse, holding a flower, the Buddha revealed his curly tail. Heaven and earth were flummoxed. Mahakashyapa smiled. And then the verse that I've added, a simple flower contains all universes. What is the truth of this moment? Smile. So what's fascinating about working with koans is I found it so interesting that working with a koan, one of the ways we can take on a koan, and in my opinion should take on the koan, is to inhabit the consciousness of each participant. So in this case, working this koan, part of it would be sitting, resting in the awareness, the perception of the Buddha. Sitting in the Buddha's seat, looking out at this crowd of people, holding this flower in stillness. Seeing Mahakashyapa smile in a particular way where the Buddha can feel the mind-to-mind seal, the union of consciousness and awareness. And then also part of the work with the koan would be to sit in Mahakashyapa's seat. A senior student of the Buddha, spending years traveling and practicing. And here the Buddha sits in silence, holding this simple wildflower. And somehow in the way it's held, in the stillness, that unity of consciousness and awareness happens. And Mahakashyapa smiles in a particular way, a smile that knows. And the Buddha can feel that in the smile. And that begins the transmission. But a transmission of no words is what it said. So, interesting koan.